Mr. Kesh, I just would like to go back to this question about the Elohim. There is a very interesting man in Italy who is the official translator for old scripture in the Vatican. And he, of course, or not of course, he has a very other view on the translations which were made since old times, because he goes back to the Hebrew and Aramaic texts. And I think he is sort of very on another way than, for instance, the translations in English or in German by Luther. So the word Elohim as such is a plural, and he is very firm that when he looks at the whole texts of the Old Testament, that there were in the beginning not just one God which is referred to by the Old Testament, but different gods. Of course, he is also of the opinion, like all of us, that there is a source, but this source is very difficult to be named, because we have in the Old Testament actually 3 times sort of names of God, which in the translation were differentiated. So there was the Elohims as a plural. Then comes the unspeakable God of name of God, which the German text and the English text translated into Yehovah, which is a word which in Hebrew cannot be expressed. But then there is a very important third name, which God calls himself, or the source, as a matter of fact, when Abraham sees the burning bush, which doesn't consume itself. He says, "Who are you?" And the translation in German and English was, "I am who I am." I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous, because if you look at the Hebrew letters, it is Eheye, then Asher, and then Eheye. So this is a word, Eheye, I am, but Asher, one ghost, this is the word for happiness. So actually, this word should be much more understood as I am happiness. But of course, from the church's point of view, this is absolutely unsupportable, because if people think they are sort of like together with the source, that's why they are happy, then you have no command over all these souls. So actually, that's the only thing I wanted to comment is, yes, we are all, when we are happy, we are in contact with our soul, our love for the source, but that makes us as man independent. And that's what was refused by all the churches or all the religions in the past, except maybe the Buddhists, which accepted that some people could reach enlightenment and therefore would be at the same level as Buddha. But that is
sorry about that. Let me explain something to what we call line of religions in Middle East, which most of us European-speaking languages believe in, be it Judaism, be it Christianity, being Muslim. These are all interconnected religions. And one has taken something from the other one and extended it to suit. We see this in Islam clearly, where in Christianity we don't see, for example, because Christ never went into this. In Judaism we have kosher meat, we have to be slaughtered in a specific way. And then we see the same thing carried out by Muhammad, bless his name, because he traveled to Palestine, he saw the Jews, he saw how slaughtering the animal the way they do to let all the blood go allows the meat to last longer without getting infected. So he changed it into halal, but in fact it's the same. Many, many things in this line of religion in the Middle East is one extension of the other. If how Moses received the message or how Muhammad received the message, look at the similarity. All was done for the betterment of men. The abuse came after the prophet. With Moses came with the prophet. So how we interpret the language, and if you call it the Silk Road, but this Silk Road existed in the south of Persian Gulf with Iran too. The Arabs, the Iranians, all the Chinese, the Palestinians, the Europeans, all took that line to go to Palestine and trade because it was the center of everything, and then they added religion to it. So we have the same common language, words, use of words, because the religion so interacted, or the people interacted so much. If the simple example of it is, if China was invented in China, through the Silk Road and the trading through what now President Xi calls it the Silk Road routes, if we manage to change plates and glaze it and call it a pottery China, we all call it China, you can imagine how the words and the theology when a China man exchanged plate with another man to get paid and they had dinner at the same time. This use of word and then changing it to part of different beliefs, to Tibet or to God knows wherever, is part of the exchange of the culture. And somebody who has taken somebody's idea or understanding for the betterment of his race has come up with different names for it. Call it a Buddha, call it Muhammad, call it Christ, whatever. The latest version of it is the Baha'is. But its demise has come to an end of its progress. Nothing is added into to the knowledge of the soul of the man. There is no extension. There is no scientific way to be able to explain what the soul is. For the first time, you know what it is. You've been taught, you understand it. Now, there is nobody to come between you and your soul and wherever that knowledge comes from it. Now you have access to, if you know how to do it, to universal knowledge. Do you need to have a knowledge about electricity? If you still live in a physical dimension, yes. But are there any generators in the universe? What a dimensional field of the universe? Yes, they are, but in a different shape or form. Places where the fields of the universe, which are loose and don't go anywhere, they come into and then they get generated as energy across the universe. Some of them are very similar to neutron stars. But mankind has use the same story from the same Silk Road talks, from the pottery to religion, and change of name in different directions. Jews had the same plates, and many of them died because of the plates, because they had no glazing. Chinese came with the glazing, they brought it, and the Jews changed. But if you look 5,000, 6,000 years down the line, when you go to a Jewish home, there are two sets of plates, as all of us know. One plate for milk and one plate for meat. And it hasn't changed, because they don't want to see the change. That gives them separation. We are different. But a knowledgeable Jew eats out of one plate, doesn't have two sets at home, because now he knows glazed, the fat of the meat cannot go into the plate and destroy it. But the other bits stayed. If you look at what we call all the religions' path of belief, they all come around about the space gap, and it's come by a man who's seen the other side, now brought it here. It's just like, you know, you go to America, you see a new device, you take the agency, and you go to your country and you become agent. Now a new device has come because it was in America. There was a new device called Judaism, British kind of beliefs, which itself came out of Mithraism. And then Christ, just why you had an Old Testament and New Testament? What's the difference between the two if you look at it? Cut the Jewish parts off, you make a new shape one, they call it the New Testament. And Muhammad did the same, because it brings a better condition for its people. But the words are the same. They cannot use it. They diversified or what it meant in that language, you put it there. But now, for the first time, you understand it yourself, that nobody to be the prophet, nobody to be somebody that you have to go. When you stand yourself, then you teach yourself, you expand the knowledge yourself. So you try to explain in this, the Old Testament, somebody translates, somebody is highly blah blah in it, it doesn't make any difference. It's all the same. It's the same China pot. And if you learn to make it in Switzerland, so now you have a Chinese Swiss made. But the knowledge comes from China.